Hello. This is a quick recording to give you a bit of an idea of what you're going to do for your task. Okay, that's assessment task 1, due November the 30th. It has 3 parts, but they're all due together. And here it is. Now, copies of this are actually available in the assignments channel. And I'm going to put some stuff in the assessments channel as well. So the assignments tab, which is in general, and the assessments tab if you've got any other questions. All right, so the task is this. It's a research task and report. Now, there's 4 main things that you're always going to be required to do in an economics exam task. First one is to make a judgment, okay, being able to then conclusively make a statement that draws on data, good evidence, and provides some clear reasons. That's the imperative. That's good for your thinking. It's not just good about economics, it's good for everything. You've got to integrate the information from at least 3 articles. So I'm going to show you some stuff that you can do in order to really search and work out what you want to keep and what you're going to skim and scam and what you're going to leave behind. You've got to be a prudent researcher around this. You've got to identify and apply economic terms and concepts, and you've got to explain those relationships. So, for instance, you've just learned about economic growth. You need to give a definition for that. Economic development. You also need to know about their relationship. Okay, how are those two things actually related? And it needs to be a sustained and logical response in an appropriate format. Introduction, body, and conclusion. Now, your response should be about 600 or 800 words in length, but you can go up to about 1,000. That's okay. So what is the question? You have to select one developing or emerging economy, or you can choose an economic region, and you've got to address that main question here. You've got to evaluate. So we're going to talk about what evaluate means. Those strategies that those governments have used in those particular developing or emerging economies or economic regions to promote economic growth and development. Now there's 3 parts, as I said. The first part is the media file. So this is worth 10 marks. And each of the articles that you collect is worth 2 marks. But how do you get 2 marks for each of those? So you can use a variety of sources. I've got access to The Economist. I'm going to show you how to get access to the Financial Times, but you can do your own web search with ABC. You can also look at all of the stuff that we've done in the last couple of terms. So for each article, you need to cite the source correctly in its format, and I'm going to go through this more carefully as we go on. You're going to identify and explain any terms, concepts, relationships, and theories that are used in that article. And you have to use the information from that article to explain, has globalization influenced your chosen economy? So straight away, you can see from that third one, when you're choosing these articles, they need to be about an economic developing or emerging economy or economic region of your choice. So the part 2 is to give me a draft. Just one draft. I will give you feedback on that. But as you can see, it's not actually tied to any marks. Okay. But it's a really good idea, and I'll be expecting your draft. And then the extended response is then due, okay, and we're going to do that under timed conditions. So you can bring in your notes, you can bring in your media sources, okay, that actually dictate that. So that's where your media is going to be a really important part of your work. Okay, a couple of other things I'm going to just show you in the next activity you're going to do. It's going to be on a media file. So I'm just going to pull that up so that you know what you're looking for. And I'm just going to share my screen again so that you can see now this media file. Now I've given you a link in the next activity. I want you to open that link, and that will give you access to a Pear Deck slide where you work through at your own pace. Now you can see that first slide deck is a reproduction of the task requirements, and it's just reminding you There's also aim to write at least 100 words summary for each article. And remember, these are the things that you're going to bring in to have a secure task set up to write that essay under timed conditions. Okay, now 3 things that you need to think about. Start wide, but I've given you some search terms there. Globalization, and then if you put and, this is called Boolean logic. So when you put and after you've chosen your country or your region, that will help you. Okay, they're good search terms to look for. Now, when you find an article or you find a source that looks interesting and you got to look for relevance. Remember the scanning. Okay, so just scan the article, see if you can if you can read anything there, economic terms, concepts, relationships, and theories. When you see those things being talked about there, you'll know that the article's going to be worthwhile. Look for those references to globalization and make sure there's things there about economic growth and development, because that's what you're going to be reading about and researching and then writing. Take notes. Now, write as you read. It helps you retain the information. And this is scientifically proven, actually. There's also a couple of clues around here, and this is a great writing style technique. It's called the because button so. And what it will do is it prompts you. So globalization has benefited China because. So that gives a reason. When you say but, you'll talk about the disadvantages or things that have occurred. And then if you say so, you talk about the consequences of that. So its economy has really grown and it's become one of the most dominant nations in the world. Okay, so those 3 sentences help you. Now, I'm not going to keep going through, but I'm going to leave you with this thought. Sometimes less is more. Don't get lost in the details. Keep it short and sharp. Don't go down too many rabbit holes. You'll get lost. Keep it up to date. Remember, economic information loses its appeal really quickly. Don't use old material. Like, don't go to stuff that's more than 2 or 3 years old. Check it in your search there. If it's from 2012 or 2015, it's not any good to you. Okay, just leave it away. Focus on the question. So keep thinking about the economic growth and development strategies for your country, for your developing or emerging economy or economic regions. Don't go off the track. All right, that should be able to help you out. Okay, I think we're done. And remember, we'll talk about this in our Teams lesson. I think you'll like this assignment.